Morocco, the Atlas Lions. They're the Giant Slayer. They're going to go on to win AFCON, and they're going to go on to win the World Cup.
I have one of the most incredible sports stories of all time in Sweden, where Mjällby has just won the Swedish league with a town of only 1,500 inhabitants.
At the end of the day, Ghana's players got paid to be part of the qualification process. So it's not like there's this sentimental issue of, oh, we struggled and we did this and we did that. You were compensated for your effort. Now it's a new challenge and a new thing. Bring in the best talent you can possibly do. That's how I feel.
Coach's challenge card, where they can challenge a decision made by the referee, either towards their team or the opponent team, and in which that VAR maybe wouldn't have looked at. With this challenge card, VAR now has to look at that decision. Let's clap it up. Episode 102. I'm not even getting used to saying the 100 plus type names. That's crazy. Last time we had episode 100, did some reflections on our journey thus far, plus a bonus episode 101 with the homie Barbara. But it's episode 102. Who am I joined by today?
What's going on, Seb? A member of Just a Regular Podcast.
Let them know. What?
What's the word, y'all? It's Josh.
What's good, y'all? Gabriel, as always.
Kendrick.
Kenny, the real Kendrick. That's a fact.
Subdued today?
Yeah.
Nah, he feeling good. He got the good cotton on. Shout out Cotton as always.
Yeah.
Lots of big action in the football world. I was talking to Kendrick before the pod. I was like, people don't understand. This is like covering 5 NBAs at once.
Yeah.
Or like covering NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL at once. It is not like just covering one of those leagues.
And lacrosse.
It is absolutely chaotic. The fact that even youth competitions are of top of mind on top of everything else is just crazy. Well, I guess you have college sports, but anyway, speaking of youth competitions.
I think you should speak to that actually. Like,
yeah,
the amount that a soccer
that we cover?
No, but just soccer fans in general, the amount that you know in terms of sports.
Yeah, I'll say the average legit soccer fan is relatively aware of the top 5 European leagues. I'm talking about an American fan, right? So that's 20 to 18 teams per league, on top of the Champions League, which includes the top teams in those leagues, as well as some other ones from different nations as well, on top of national teams, big youth players at youth competitions, on top of the national teams is also per continent. So you have the AFCON, and you have Copa America, and you have the Gold Cup, and you have the Euros, and you have the World Cup. And now you have the Nations League. That's not even to mention the whole women's side of things. Like, it's unbelievable how much we cover. But we love the sport. And speaking of one of the many competitions, the FIFA U20 World Cup just ended. Major congratulations to Morocco beating Argentina 2-0. Big Hassan 2-0 in the final. An absolutely monumental moment. But before we get into the significance for Morocco, some very interesting stuff also in the U20 World Cup is the use of the challenge card. Have y'all seen
Oh,
this?
shit.
I have, yes.
Yeah, so there is a coach's challenge card where they can challenge a decision made by the referee, either by a foul towards their team or the opponent team, and in which that VAR maybe wouldn't have looked at. With this challenge card, VAR now has to look at that decision. It could be a free kick, a penalty, et cetera, et cetera. Thoughts on having this sort of challenge situation? Because right now, I think it's interesting that VAR, we don't always know when it's going to intervene, but this allows the coach, similar to the NBA opening night tonight, that the coach can actually make a decision of no, video has to look at that. Y'all thoughts on them testing this out in the youth competition?
I love it.
I
love
too.
it personally. I think it involves coaches more. I think fans have a tough time of understanding the tangible impact that coaches have on games.
Yep.
That's one very clear impact that a coach can have. Because in the NBA, you actually will sometimes see coaches decide not to take a challenge.
Not risk it. Yep.
Sometimes the star player will go up to the coach and say, yo, coach, challenge that. And the coach has to manage the ego of that player with the level of belief that they trust in that star person. And sometimes they go, nah, I don't think you were right on that one. I'm going to go with something else and save this card. So I can imagine Messi going up to the Argentinian coach during the World Cup final and he goes, challenge that, because he's heated and he's upset and he wants a challenge. But the coach has to say no in that moment because he doesn't think it's right.
Yeah.
Or he agrees and he says yes. They make a mistake. They don't. So I think it just adds a bit more drama, and drama is all we need in the sport. So yeah.
I agree. I think we need it too, because it's still not clear all the times VAR can and can't be involved. And there's just differing rules by leagues. And we just talked about how many different competitions are in football. I think something like this can help cover those instances that are very unclear, especially like, for instance, I think it was Liverpool scored an objectively onside goal against Tottenham. And we saw the whole debacle with that. If you're able to challenge it, you could correct for human error. Yep. So since VAR still has human error, I think it's one more layer of protection. So I personally like it. I don't know if y'all have any extra thoughts on it.
You have any thoughts on it?
Go ahead.
I have thoughts on something else.
Go ahead.
All right. Another interesting youth topic that I wanted to float by y'all MLS Next Pro has been doing this thing over the last couple of years where basically when the playoffs come around,
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
they have like the top 4 to 5 teams, whatever, pick their opponent. It's like a pick your opponent program.
Yep.
So whereas if you were sitting in first place, you're the first up to choose which of the next 7 teams you actually want to go against in the first round. And I think it's something that like should be implemented more in more competitions. And this year they added like a new element, which was very funny, where they had like a representative from each team call a representative from another team and tell them like, hey, like we're going up against y'all. So they had like the coach from Chattanooga or whatever call a different coach and be like, yo, like we want y'all in the first round. And the reactions were funny and like the banter back and forth was funny. How do y'all think this could be applied? Do you think it should be applied?
Like senior level top football?
Yeah.
Nah, because I think some coaches and teams would try to dodge the smoke. And I don't want that. If you think about Liverpool PSG round of 16,
Yeah.
classic matchup early in the tournament, would PSG or Liverpool have called to not play that top team early on? I think you got to let those things happen. You think about Real Madrid. I'm a Real Madrid fan. Some of those classic UCL campaigns where they went on to win the Champions League, beating PSG, Bayern, Juve, and Liverpool, or PSG, Chelsea, Man City, and Liverpool. Some of those matches are going to be removed if you get to choose who you're playing. So I think that would take away a lot of the excitement of groups of death and the by chance that these big teams play early. But maybe some Copa del Rey FA Cup could test it out, Carabao Cup. But at the top level, I think it's a little gimmicky for me. And I think people would dodge the smoke is my biggest concern.
I think that's what you think, but like in Next Pro, like some of the teams, like they would just pick their rivals. Like even though they're sitting in first,
Not the same weight.
the rivals is in third place. They're like, yo, like we want to see y'all again. And I think some teams would do that.
I think it could be super cool to use it as a seeding thing for the World Cup for the different sections that occur in the World Cup. So, of course, during the World Cup, you can kind of seed the teams based on the amount of goals they scored and based on the amount of points they accrued. And you could find a mathematical way to find who the 1 seed is, who the 2
Yeah,
seed is.
I mean, they already have that, yeah.
Even though there's, of course, going to still be a bunch of first-place teams and a bunch of second-place teams in the World Cup. But you can find a way to find out what that seeding will look like. Then, going into each new round, you get to pick who you play against based on what your seed is. So, for example, in the last World Cup, a team like Brazil, I believe, who scored a lot of goals against Korea, probably would have been a pretty high seed going into the group stages. Essentially, what they would be able to do is pick who they want to play throughout the entire tournament. And I think it gets really cool during a semifinals when you're a Brazil and you have the pick of France, Argentina, and Netherlands, and you have to pick who you want to play. That, I think, would be super cool to see. And I think you could even maybe get the country involved, have people vote.
Right.
That'd be fire.
Right.
Yo,
I think
that's insane.
it definitely comes down to 2 different types of excitement. It's the excitement of the draw, which you brought up, which is like you don't have no choice.
Yep.
But there's also the banter and the intention, because what is the intention if you pick to play against me, bro?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
Imagine we got the World Cup coming up. We're picking quarterfinals, whatever, and Ghana's like, actually, we want Uruguay.
Yeah.
Like imagine the scenes, bro. Like everybody's like, oh shit.
then you have
they have to kill them.
Have to win.
They actually have
pick
to
me
kill
and you
them.
lose?
Yeah. It's over for you. But
I feel like I don't know.
it creates generations of
Yeah,
banter.
yeah.
Actually generations of
It
banter.
increases rivalry by 100%.
Yeah.
If they pick them.
At the professional level, I don't know about calling somebody on the
Yeah. And also just like, I think the biggest
calls
flaw
captain.
Yeah.
Biggest flaw is, one, the excitement is already so high, like don't fix what's not broken to some extent. The other one is who decides? Coach, chairman, is it Florentino? The fans is absolutely diabolical. Because imagine you're the player and you got to do an American Idol style vote to see who you're gonna play.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But if y'all want to test it out, test it in the Youth World Cup, because they just tested all types of stuff down there. They tested the orange card in the Youth World Cup, I think, too, on the women's side, the U17 or something. So if you're gonna test the FIFA, test it on the youth. Let it figure out. Definitely mad test runs. Do you know how many approvals that would have to have? But you never know, man. Sports gonna change as tech changes. Who knows?
I'll definitely say for all the behind the scenes, vlogs we be seeing, all the behind the scenes team recap tournaments.
You could make a documentary
Yeah.
just about
the decision.
Oh yeah.
The decision making behind the scenes, like you said, whether it's the captain,
Yeah.
whether it's intention from rivalry.
Yeah. Imagine, but We talk about like inner team beef.
No, because
And now we tight because you picked them.
Some people gonna be like, why did you?
Yo,
Bro,
I
some
know we
people-
confident you picked Brazil first round. Why?
Some people they're gonna be like, why did you pick that team? Because I'm gonna have to face a certain player one
Yeah, I
up.
got
Word.
it's more-
Now I'm
Mbappe.
guarding Vinny and Rodrigo, and like, you know what I'm
But
saying?
you don't have to do that.
Yeah, facts. That's nuts. That's absolutely crazy. One other thing, though, of course, back to the U20 World Cup. Morocco winning is a huge moment. We're going to get to it in our BEIN segment, but for them to win the U20 World Cup and beat Argentina in the final, fresh off the 2022 World Cup being semifinalists, the first team ever from Africa, and the massive investment taking place in that country, and the likes of Hakimi being a Ballon d'Or candidate, do y'all think for Morocco, this is a bigger moment than when Nigeria won the U20 World Cup in 2005 against Argentina as well?
Millions.
Ghana won the U20
When
as
was that?
well. I believe
2010.
2009.
2010. Ghana 2010.
2010
Point
or
being-
2009. Same shit.
Right. Point being that Argentina team even had Messi on it. You know what I'm saying? And like you had John Obi Mikel. It was kind of that golden era of Nigerian football in the youth system as well. But it didn't translate to the men's level at the World Cup, AFCON, etc.
Yeah.
But I think for Morocco, all that context I kind of put together, I think this is Morocco entering a new era overall of their football period. Not even to mention the women's side too. That's how I feel about it. What do you think, Seb?
And we'll talk about this more at the beginning segment.
Yeah.
But I think what it does is it puts Morocco in a really, really good situation for the next 10, 15 years, not just from a perspective of bringing those players through, but also attracting all the diasporic talent that they have in the Netherlands, in Italy, in France,
Spain.
in Belgium, in Spain. Because now, when you're making that choice as a young player and you have heritage from Morocco, the percentage that you're likely to choose to play for Morocco goes up so much more.
Yep.
And because what ends up happening is that Morocco as a country becomes more and more inclined to be a footballing nation, the investment that can be made into players choosing to play for Morocco financially is just as high. So what ends up happening is a player can choose to play for Morocco and make just as much money as they would if they played for France, because they still get that big billboard like ad, and instead of it being in Paris, it's in Casablanca now. It's just as
That's a
valuable.
bar.
So yeah, that'd be really cool. And I think it just helps the case.
100%.
Yeah. Also helps just, I guess, the trajectory to get to the national team as well for some players. It puts highlight and a spotlight on them. For instance, when Ghana won in 2009, some of the players quickly made, their own debuts in 2010 as well.
Yeah.
One thing, this one Ghanaian guy, he's big in the sports scene, actually posted about the Morocco team, was the fact that when you take sport and make it not only an entertainment product, but also a way to boost the country, culturally and bring them together, you see it a lot in the youth development.
Bro. And I didn't even say AFCON's being hosted there in 2 months from today, pretty much. Today's October 21st.
Yeah.
Huge moments, man. Huge moments.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think the cards are in their hands, really. Like, after their performance at the World Cup, winning the U20 World Cup, it's like, all right, literally the next step in line is like
The World Cup.
either win the World Cup or like come close. You know what I'm saying? Like top 3. So it's up to them. Like, I don't know. It's theirs to lose in my mind.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I agree. Crazy.
Yeah. Even it's like, it's going to change even the expectations of an African team walking
Exactly.
into the World Cup.
Yeah,
At
'cause now-
2026, Morocco, you do not want to play group, knockout, nothing. Speaking of the picking your opponent, you don't want Morocco. You do not want Morocco.
Also, it just felt good to, I don't know. It just felt good to watch them beat Argentina.
Oh, yeah.
Always, yeah.
Like,
Just like 2005 with Nigeria.
just on some like, low-key was revenge for them beating France. And like,
I see how you can say that.
and that picture of
1%, but yeah.
that picture of like the all-black lineup during the penalties, and they all just looked dejected.
Yeah.
Like that win for Morocco was like a win for like the diaspora.
And for most of South America as well, because
Yeah, no one likes
people
Argentina.
don't
Yeah.
like Argentina.
Yeah.
Like Argentina was making fun of Mexico when they beat them with the
Yeah.
whole music thing.
Nasty
Yeah.
work.
So I think most people were rooting for Morocco.
Yeah.
Even Spanish speaking Central American, Latin American people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And they were like cooking like big nations along the way. I think they beat Spain in the beginning of the competition.
yeah, Spain didn't have a
Beat
good
the
youth team.
US.
Yeah.
They beat like I think Netherlands at one
Speaking
point.
of the US did well.
They did. They beat France 3-0 at one point, and
They
Italy
beat
3-0.
France.
Yeah.
And Italy 3-0.
Yeah.
I think one thing for those U20 World Cups, which is always interesting, for those who might not know, it's not every player of those nations who's
Yeah,
under
that's true.
20. So Spain, Lamine Yamal, national team, Fermin Lopez, full national team, et cetera, which is why sometimes we see you know, the bigger nations don't always perform as well as they could because they might call it faster than other people. But nonetheless, it is still some of the best young talent in the world.
It's really like it's indicative of the times we're in. Like the game is just becoming younger and younger.
Yeah.
So it's becoming more important that you actually have like a youth team that can succeed at that level.
Yep.
Like if you don't have 19, 18, 17-year-olds that are actually cooking, like you actually might be fucked.
Italy. You know what I'm saying? No, for real. Like the biggest problem in Italian football is y'all not trusting the young players compared to Spain and other places. Y'all talk about it all the time.
The biggest.
He says, I mean, that's like known.
Absolutely.
It's like well known, yeah.
Biggest.
Absolutely
Right.
true.
Y'all gonna be at the World Cup though. It's good to have y'all back.
No.
What's that word y'all have for superstition that y'all be saying?
Superstitious.
There's a couple. Which one? Scaramantia.
This one you're like, you're not supposed to speak about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Word. Well, speaking of Italian teams, the Champions League is back. We're going to give y'all a little bit of a Tuesday. What happened?
The fuck did Italian teams do in the Champions League?
Oh, Napoli got cooked 6-2. I was just doing a little transition.
I wasn't ready for that one.
No. I'm not. You're a Milan fan, so you're probably happy to see that. And I will give you some credit.
Good transition.
He did correctly predict Napoli in Champions League was not going to be the same now that they actually have this European competition.
Ball, bro.
And they got cooked by a Dutch side. And Seb has lots of beef with, I guess, the Dutch league, Dutch people, etc. So, yeah. Remember what he said about Dutch coaches last time? Y'all didn't hear that. He had a whole...
I'll take it.
Y'all don't remember that?
I'll collect. I'll collect.
He did. Y'all don't remember it, bro.
I remember it, but you just took it to this level.
You can't step foot in Rotterdam. Bro.
Yeah, definitely not safe in Rotterdam, Amsterdam.
What's
None
the
of the
capital?
dams, bro.
Amsterdam?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's also a place, though, Rotterdam.
It is a place.
Both are places.
I mean, Rotterdam's
Eindhoven.
lit. People love Rotterdam.
Eindhoven.
100.
But yeah, Seb, thoughts on Napoli
Utrecht.
getting absolutely whammed by PSV. Shout out Ricardo Pepi, American baller, getting a
Go
goal.
through that wham-minute circle.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
Not too surprising. I'm not surprised at all that Napoli's struggling in Champions League. Conte's not. He's never been good at managing in the Champions League. That's been one of the issues. No, that's been one of the issues.
Didn't he make a UCL final with Juventus?
He did.
Okay.
I'm not saying that he hasn't progressed in that tournament. He's never been able to win it. He's always had trouble in it.
Yeah, facts.
And
He's never won it. That's fair.
the resume that he comes with in the Serie A is that he's a league manager, not a cup manager.
You do say that.
So
Okay.
I'm not surprised. And also the team is like handling going from playing one game a week where they have a whole week to prepare
It's real.
to having to play Champions League and travel and go to Amsterdam and go to like I think they had to go to Cyprus in a couple weeks.
Probably.
So it's like it's a little,
They're fucked.
it's tough. It's
That's
tough.
basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just Conte. It's not what he does. It's just not his expertise. Is managing two different tournaments at the same time.
Word.
And people know that. That's kind of the blemish on his resume.
Yeah.
That's kind of how the newspapers talk about him. He doesn't have that in his arsenal.
Do you have any hope for Serie A in general in the Champions League, or do you think this will be kind of a quiet season compared to last with Inter?
I think Inter can do well.
Really?
I think they won 4-0 today.
I didn't see that. They might have. Let me check.
I believe so.
Let me check.
No.
I don't think so. I think they play tomorrow.
Nah.
Let's see. Wait, let me see.
No
let
way.
me see.
Nah,
They did win 4-0. You're right.
Okay,
Right.
I was like,
I gotta be. Yo, why that got left? Hey, man, we fact check it.
That might have been it, bro. That might have been it. That might have been it. Like, that might have been it.
Yo, episode 102 was the last one. That's it.
That might have been
I
it.
was actually alive.
Someone watching,
we would have had to have a real
unsubscribe.
conversation.
Nah, yeah,
watching Atalanta.
Nah, you're good. You're good. Nah, you're correct. You're good. 4-0.
Good.
I mean, they was 4-0 a win at Union Saint Gillois.
Saint Gillois, yeah.
Gillois. Yeah, okay. Interesting.
And the other team, because I thought I had confused Inter and Atalanta. The other team that I think could do well in the Champions League is Atalanta.
And they play tomorrow versus. Well, I can't.
Right here.
Slavia Praha. They should win at home.
should win.
And Bergamo should win for sure. Shout out to Pellegrini.
What's going on at Atalanta is pretty cool. The other day they put up a giant statue of their Europa League win, which is a big deal. I don't think people have given them enough credit for the fact that they won the Europa League. That's a pretty small club. And so for them to have been able to win a major European trophy is a big deal. And they're starting to invest a lot in being a cemented Italian team that goes to Europe every single season. Honestly, their focus, and you can kind of tell it from the way the Serie A has been going, is much more so on Champions League than on Serie A this year. Because financially for them, it makes a lot more sense to progress further in Champions League than do well in Serie A this year.
Yep.
So you're gonna see Atalanta really push
It's interesting.
for that.
Yeah, lots of blowouts today. So as we said, PSV with a 6-2 win over Napoli. Barca with a 6-1 win at home against Olympiacos. Fermín Lopez with a hat trick, who is low-key, I think, a bit of an underrated Spanish baller just because so much talent, especially in La Masia.
Marcus putting up goals too, boy.
Yeah, Marks with 2. Bro, the injuries have opened up for him to be like a focus starter. He's been taking advantage of it. As a team, you'll see they got those highline issues, but up front, I mean, the goals was coming.
Yeah, man.
PSG 7-2 in Leverkusen. Big win there. Doué with some bangers.
That team,
Dembele scoring off the bench. Go ahead.
that team does not exist. If you're a Leverkusen fan, retire your season. Like, put your jersey up. You'll like. I feel bad for you. I've never seen a fall off like this severe. Like
the quickness, yeah.
the
steepness.
depreciation in quality, the depreciation in the value of your club, the depreciation in the essence that you carry has just all like astonished me.
Yeah, and to go from Vibes FC to Ten Hag's coach,
no,
I know he left, but
no vibes, no like nothing that excites anybody. Like nobody, if you're not a fan of that team, you actually don't care anymore.
yeah.
Whereas like I never really watched Leverkusen that much, but due to the personalities and the way that they were playing, I was like, oh, I'm actually like keeping up.
Yeah. I'll give them one piece of credit. They are 5th in Bundesliga. That's not too bad. Grimaldo, the
doesn't mean
Spanish
anything.
left back, is carrying that side. He's scoring mad goals as a left back. So they have some bright spots, individual talent, but overall, the comparison between the Xabi era with Verts and Frimpong and all those guys, it's sad to see, to be honest.
I've never Kendrick's right though. I mean
Yeah.
they
had an undefeated season, bro.
I would struggle to find a fall off
crazy.
of that magnitude
That fast.
in recent history.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Maybe
It's not-
Leicester,
but that was
but that was almost like different.
yeah, and also they didn't have an undefeated season. Their point total was very low compared to Champions point totals that season. Like in general, it was very low point total. They super overachieved. But yeah, man, that Max Exodus, the new coach and everything just has not been working out. But we'll see how the season goes. And then Arsenal 4-0 over Atletico. Stinky Atletico. I mean, that was just bad.
yeah.
Poor performance. Cholo Simeone, you got to figure something out, man, because it's not been a great La Liga season either. They also lost to, who was it? They lost to someone in the Champions League. It might have been Bayern or Liverpool, but they lost that match as well. So they're not doing well in Champions League. Haven't had a great La Liga start. Good win for Arsenal. Also top of the table. But yeah, man. No bueno for Atletico. No bueno. Did you have something you was about to mention? Okay, but to get back to Juve, the actual like situation at hand. So Juventus have confirmed that they are subject of a UEFA investigation for a potential breach of financial regulations regarding the football earning rule over a 3-year period from 2022 to 2025.
Me too.
Huh? The club find themselves in hot water, once again after being handed a $22 million fine and a 1-year ban from competing in UEFA. $22 million.
They don't have that.
Fine, and a 1-year ban from competing in UEFA competitions for breaching the Financial Fair Play FFP regulations in 2023. An outcome is expected in spring 2026, which could result in financial sanctions or sporting restrictions, such as limiting to registering players for UEFA competitions for 2026-2027. The Bianconeri announced today that CEO Maurizio Scanavino will step down from his role on November 7th.
Oh shit.
So it is serious.
Bad.
And if for those who might not know, they were relegated around 2009, 10-ish.
Club is a joke.
Or 7, whatever it was, mid-20, before 2010.
I believe
Yo,
it was before the World
twice in
Cup.
the last 20 years,
Yeah.
fucking up like this.
It might have been to, let's watch it.
Was it before the World Cup? when
relegation.
and Buffon stayed.
They were relegated in July 2006.
My thing is this.
Wow, after winning the World Cup.
My thing is this. If you're gonna cheat, you gotta get away with it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna cheat and
get away with it.
and do this fraudster, no, but like you shouldn't get caught. Like somebody's fucking up. Like when you playing with millions, bro, don't play around. Like hide that shit properly.
Yeah, put it in Switzerland. You know, shout out my Swiss boys.
You can't be a serious enterprise and you getting caught like this multiple times within a 20-year span.
Yeah.
COO stepping down. Come on, yo.
She's so American today.
Why is that American?
How is that American?
Because you're like, your business structure has to be well put together. You have to be able to.
Well, bro, it's hurting the
That's
club.
not what I said.
It's hurting the
I said
club.
if you're gonna cheat,
Yeah.
hide it. I don't think that's an insane statement.
Or get away with it for longer. Bernie made
Why
up.
do you say that though? Expand, boy.
No, it's more so like, or you could just
Take the punch.
kind of fuck around and make some mistakes and
Well, they not beating the case is the point.
yeah.
But if you're a criminal, you're trying to beat the case. So they're not beating cases. They keep getting wrapped up.
Seb is saying be a criminal and fuck up and get caught.
You see,
Kind of like
you see
culturally, it's like
Seb's a Milan fan, so he wants all this to happen.
y'all
That's what
see
he's doing.
the people who stole from the museum recently?
Yes, the Louvre.
They didn't get caught though, right?
That's Lupin and them, bro.
That's
for sure.
Lupin for real.
Lupin and them for real.
Hey, God.
His ones and the little dad.
They said it took what 7 minutes, so they should get bagged.
They said they
Yeah.
actually just pulled up.
No, they put
They were in
they put out
construction
the
worker
joint.
outfits, right? They were
Yeah.
like construction workers.
They tried to set fire to this the stair, whatever
Yeah.
they got to the door, whatever.
Nuts.
They said there was some security guard that were unarmed. Them niggas just ran.
Ran, bro.
I would run too.
Facts, it's not in the
Make
pay
it-
grade.
This ain't my jewels, and it's from Napoleon. Like, what we talking about? That's funny.
Kendrick saying they shouldn't get bagged. Seb said if they get bagged, that's
Well,
part of it.
Kendrick is saying you should try not to get bagged. Is
That's
what
literally all I'm saying.
he's just saying you should try not to get caught.
Like, do you?
what I'm saying is
Who
the
cares?
mentality in Italy is whatever. What you gonna do?
That's why your country is in the state that it's in.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
What I love about Five Aside, how many times have we just veered into the mafia conversation out of nowhere? Like, it's been several in the last
You guys
few.
come to Italy. It's
not gonna
much
lie.
easier to see it. It's much easier.
I'm not gonna lie, this is definitely a slight deja vu to the time. What was that combo?
King of Spain?
Niggas started talking about the King of Spain.
But that started with the mafia.
That actually wasn't that long
totally-
ago. That
It
actually-
wasn't, and it was in the studio, and it started with
It
mafia.
was like a few weeks ago.
Hilarious.
over a month.
That's still a few weeks.
Well,
5-6 months.
speaking of
Proper.
Kings of the Forest, Frankfurt, which Sebastian was at, incredible club, incredible thing. Watch Discover a Club Frankfurt out now.
It's a fact.
Hosted by Sebastian Kaya. Once again, let's clap it for Sebastian, man. That was sometimes you just gotta look back, man. That's just crazy.
Great job, Sebastian.
They are hosting Liverpool tomorrow, which is a pretty fun fixture with Hugo Ekitike going back to his former club. What do we think is going to happen? Liverpool has lost 4 in a row. Shout out Man United with that big W. You know what I'm saying? Shout out boy Nessie in the feature. Shout out Terry too, of course, with the Premier League that just dropped.
Moose is what we do. son.
Moose, GGMU type vibes.
Know what I mean?
Talking about Harry Maguire at Anfield.
Moose is what we do, son.
Oof. Hey man.
Hey, man.
Moose said off camera beating Liverpool not for everyone. United got it done.
No, I'm
Well, I guess
saying.
how you feeling, United fans? We got to
The
get
real
you.
Reds won, boy.
Say they don't have 20 prems yet, right?
It's
Feel me?
a while for them, but no, listen, it was a good way for us to capitalize on the
Yeah.
Obviously, Liverpool, they're looking to get back. So Frankfurt, they trying to put belt to ass to y'all niggas.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. What y'all think gonna happen
It's
at Frankfurt? Yeah, 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Nah, 5 in a row. Else?
Their mentality's in the mud, bro.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't think it'll be like a close one. I don't think they're gonna get blown out.
Little 2-1 vibe.
I think they'll probably just fail to score.
Damn.
Frankfurt's a tough place to go.
Yeah, I mean, you have been in that
It's a
stadium.
tough place to go.
It's not
They're gonna
Allianz.
be super crazy.
Yeah.
A stadium in the middle of the forest.
Well, I'm gonna ask an interesting question too. Do you start Ekitike or do you start Isak? Because that's been a big debate.
You gotta start.
He's been in better form, but Isak is the bigger signing, which is why he started over him this past weekend. And there's just a lot of figuring out how do you play all of them and Wirtz and Salah. Wirtz was on the bench, 0010 he's at now. It's a bit of a, and I just listened to the Jurgen Klopp podcast actually on Diary of a CEO, which I want to talk about a little bit. But what is next for Liverpool? Like, how do you figure out, like, they got all these assets, they moved a little bit away from the traditional Liverpool style. And
They
like,
tweaked.
what do you do?
They tweaked.
Did they do too much in transfer window? Is it too early? But 4 in a row is legit concern.
They
Yeah.
tweaked. I mean, I said it at the beginning of the season. I don't remember the last time I saw a team win the championship. I mean, win the
The Champions.
right word.
The Premier League.
Become the champions.
Yeah.
And then the following season, just
Do too.
create a whole new team and then win again, or even get close.
Yeah.
I actually can't think of that. Like there's no format for that. So it's like if they pulled it off, or they do pull it off, great. But like, there's no reason for me to believe in that project.
Yeah.
Synergy is going. It's a new team.
It's a lot.
Yeah. In England,
East-
that's very rare. He's right.
Frimpong also didn't start. He came on and did well actually, but yeah. It's
And like, I
interesting.
don't know. I was seeing this when we were at the watch party, but it's kind of like the energy from winning together is gone, right?
Yeah.
Because you have a bunch of players who like don't have any sort of like loyalty to the club. They're like not even, a lot of them aren't even from England. So it's like, obviously playing for Liverpool is a great honor.
It's not the same.
But it's not the same. You're not like a Trent Alexander-Arnold where you really like I want my club to win.
Yeah.
And
So
you
when-
didn't win last year, so you don't feel like
Yeah.
you're defending it.
So when it comes to this rough period, it's probably like very individual minded where you're like, damn, I need to, like, there's a lot of weight. Like, I need to do better. Like Isak right now is probably like, damn, like
Yeah.
I just got bought for this much. I
lot
need to
of
like
pressure.
perform
really
versus like a collective feeling of like, yo, let's do this together. It's a lot of individual, like I'm in a new place. You know what I'm saying? It's just a different
yeah.
mentality.
And I would say too, all the new players at this new place have never played at a club this big.
Yeah.
Isak, this is the biggest club yet. Egatike, Frimpong, Kirkas, etc. This is, you know what I mean? It's not like you're bringing one person who just came from Real or Barca or Bayern or something like that. It's like everyone took a step up, and it's kind of like, oh damn. And it was the big fees, and then it's the expectations. You're already champion, do it again.
Yeah.
And people thought they were clear favorites, so it's definitely difficult. But it was really interesting to. Y'all know Diary of a CEO podcast. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp was on that. Phenomenal. Yeah, brand new. Just dropped like Monday. Phenomenal. We just like listened to it. I was like folding and stuff. But phenomenal interview. Super down to earth guy, and has talked so much about really building culture at all the clubs that he coached. So for those who don't know, he actually started off at Mainz in Bundesliga, bringing them from Bundesliga 2 to the Bundesliga for their first ever promotion. You know how difficult that is in Germany because of how competitive Bundesliga is between teams falling between the first and second division. Not only that, but took Dortmund to win every title in Germany, including the Bundesliga title in 2011 and a Champions League final that they could have won against Bayern.
Yeah.
And they lost to an all-time great Bayern team with Iron Robben, Frank Ribéry, Schweinsteiger, and all those guys. And then going to Liverpool, spending 9 seasons, winning the Champions League, bringing them their first English league title, and I think it was 30 years in 2020. I mean, the legacy he's done in building teams that were not at a certain level to get to the absolute top is incredible. So for him to do that 3 times in a row at different projects, at different levels, and now within different countries, his coaching legacy is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
How does he build culture?
Well, he said it can sometimes be the smallest things. Like he was even talking about how he wants everybody to know the staff's name, the person serving the food, the person with the kits, like really creating a familial entity. But then also, he didn't say separately or first, but at the same time, tactics. So building personal culture and tactics at the same time. So we're going to press, we're going to run our asses off. And he talked a lot about Liverpool. That team was nowhere nearly as talented as it was by the end. So it's like the one thing we can do is work our ass off, and that will bring the fans back to believing in the club. So he just talked a lot about that. And he's not done coaching at all. He just said he needed a break. He said, there's no break in this. I can't take a year off coaching. What do you mean? As the coach, you don't get a sabbatical. So it's like, no, I need time off. I want to be. He even said now he's better in his fitness because he has more time, etc. And he's also one of the sporting He's also one of the sporting directors now for like Red Bull organization. So working with Leipzig, Salzburg, etc. But he said no, like with the right circumstance, he'll get back to first division.
Definitely. In particular about his time at Dortmund or Mainz.
I mean, he just talked about how big it was, obviously, for Mainz. And also, like, Mainz, he became a coach extremely young. Yep. He was in his early 30s and had just gotten done playing. So it was kind of a shock decision for him to get that, but built up the culture, got the promotion. And then at Dortmund, too, which meant a lot for him, that is his club. That's where he's from, too. To get them a Bundesliga title, how rare that comes in a peak dominance of Bayern era, just an incredible thing that he was able to do. One of the best coaches we've seen, and he still has more to go, for sure.
One of the first things that come to mind, too, when you bring up the fact that he's obviously culture building and bringing teams to another level, is just a quote of like treating people how like you want them or they themselves even want to grow. Yeah. Not treating them where they're at. If you come into a team or a group, anything in life, and you just stay to that standard or situation or give faith based on like previous requirements, you're not going to go forward. Yeah. You know, he took that Liverpool team that he walked into.
They were like 6th, 7th.
You know,
they were starting Adam Lallana, which he talked about those kind of guys, and like, but I can see there's a player in there. I can see there's a dog in you. And he talked about too, I'll rather have, or not rather, but a team that's not as good with amazing chemistry versus just a bunch of stars with no chemistry. You see what happens every time.
He did that at Dortmund, dude.
Yeah, he did.
Kagawa, Royce, Aubameyang,
Blaszczykowski, the Polish. Yeah, facts. Yeah. Squad, man.
It's really good. It's cool.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a good listen.
Anyway, speaking of that Dortmund team, Halloween's coming up.
Yes, sir.
Can you guys talk to me about some of those Aubameyang celebrations with Royce, with the mask, with the Batman mask, with the Spider-Man mask? What was it like for you guys growing up and seeing those celebrations? Like, how iconic were they for you all?
So I'll say, as a fan of Marvel and DC growing up, it was cool to see him bring it to life. You know, he's someone that always brings up the fact that football is not only for the professional level, but it's also for the youth. You know what I mean? I don't know how. I'm just trying to remember. Did somebody bring a mask to him, or he had the mask with him on the pitch? He
had the mask behind the goal.
Yeah, because you can't carry it. They check the body before you
fire. So, you know, and he recognizes that it's not only about entertainment, but it's about inspiring people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, he played with a lot of joy. And as a striker, once you score a goal, there's a lot of things you can do with a celebration. He took it as creative as possible. And no pun intended, but he became a superhero to a lot of children, especially those kids in Dortmund for the incredible legacy he's created there, as well as other clubs around the world. So I loved it, honestly.
What's your favorite one? Spider-Man, Batman, or Black Panther?
I got to go Black Panther. Black Panther, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. Because that represents a little bit more than just a superhero too.
Yep.
So I would go with Black Panther, personally.
For me, it was probably Spider-Man, just because it was like it showed his youthfulness.
There's that famous Tony Cruz quote where Cruz kind of like gets at him a little bit for wearing the mask, and he hits back. He's like, listen, I did it for my son. I did it because I wanted to kind of show a little bit of joy and a little bit of entertainment to just not just kids in general, but specifically my kid. So what Aubameyang represented and when he did those things on the field, I think perfectly represents the type of player he was at that time with Dortmund. So shout out him, and let us know what you're going to be for Halloween in the comments, and if any of these masks, Batman, Spider-Man, Black Panther, will appear in your costumes. Speaking of the Bundesliga, though, and some iconic Bundesliga players, there is a new star that is cementing his legacy as an all-time great Bundesliga player right now, and that is Harry Kane. We're getting deep enough into the season. He's breaking enough records right now where the conversation about a very early Ballon d'Or shout is starting to brew.
Oh, of course.
Do you think it's possible for at the end of the season for Harry Kane to win a Ballon d'Or, and what does he have to do with Bayern and then maybe with England as well to get that?
He has to win the treble. Given the team that they put together, immaculate team over there at Bayern, there are a lot of expectations for them to go on and win. And so it's not enough to just win the title. It's not enough to win the DFB Pokal. They got to win the Champions League as well. And if they do that, he wins the Golden Boot in Europe and domestically, it'll be hard to build a case against him.
I think he has a great opportunity also being a captain of England.
Yeah.
The way that both of his club team and his country is set up is him to not only lead with goals, but also by his persona and the way he carries himself. So, no, he should go for it, man. I could see him pulling it off.
Yeah.
Gabe, can you speak to me about that last little requirement that we always forget about for the Ballon d'Or, which is the way that you carry yourself on the field, not just the goals?
Yeah. So one of the requirements for the Ballon d'Or is fair play. And I think Harry Kane at this current moment has quite the good PR and has quite the good, fair play consideration.
Yep.
Obviously, that is a super subjective term, but I think he does fit the billing. We talk about how much his teammates love him. There's a lot of jokes always about him being the being the quarterback. You see how he's receiving the ball at his own 18-yard box and launching it up to the wingers and making the run and getting the goal or the assist after that. So there's a lot of that teammate love around him, and I think the England camp loves him as well. So that fair play requirement, I think he'll definitely fit as well.
So he be defending too.
Yeah, he does everything. He's a little bit of Wayne Rooney in him.
Even what Barbara brought up last time too, the fact that like he's not seen as somebody that's hogging goals,
Yeah.
but he still bags. That joint kind of
It's impressive. Like
fire.
people,
It's just a natural football.
Yeah, it's
like natural.
because how can you have 20 goals, but then also people say that you're not a ball hog and you don't only care about goals? How's that possible? You have to be incredibly talented for both things to be true.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like they say in life when you kind of relax and let the things come to you, let the game come to you, how things just start
He's
happening
the
for you.
perfect let the game come
So-
to type player. Yeah.
So it's an analogy
And
for
there's a
sure.
lot of things to come to me.
Yeah.
Cool.
Moving further north into Europe, we have one of the most incredible sports stories of all time in Sweden, where Mjällby has just won the Swedish league with a town of only 1,500 inhabitants.
Sheesh.
Once again, a town of 1,500 inhabitants. Their football team is on a record-breaking pace in the Swedish league. They've already won the league and might finish with the highest point total ever. That, to me, is one of the craziest stories I've heard, not just in football, but in all of sports. Just to give some additional context, after 27 matches, they currently have 66 points, and this is their first ever title as well. And obviously, us being based in New York and in the United States of America, it's hard to even think of a comparison of what that could mean in the U.S. That's like what town? Even I'm from the middle of nowhere, obviously, that's still not small enough. Like, you have to, how does that happen? It's just one of the most incredible stories I've ever heard. A town that small, that few people to have that good of a season. And now they will officially, of course, be in the Champions League as well.
Wow.
It's just incredible. Yeah, 1,500 people.
Wow.
Yeah, they're going to be in the Champions League. They won the Swedish League, yeah.
Wow.
I've never seen anything like it. It's one of the amazing stories of global football. You never know what you'll find. Any thoughts on it?
How big is the stadium?
So that's a good question.
They have 4 national team players. Their stadium is
Gotta be
7,000 seats.
Jeez.
Their total club value is 16.5 million, which is more than I figured it would be, but that's still very low.
Yeah. So and so one of the things we talk about too, with like, what's interesting in soccer as well is when you qualify for something like the Champions League, these different European competitions, financially, how much it does for the club.
Yeah.
So for this Swedish football team from a town of 1,500 people with a club value of only $16 million, how much they're going to make in revenue from the Champions League, let's just say maybe it's 40, 50 million. You can look up the exact numbers.
Yeah.
Like their value is being double, triple, et cetera from that. So
Yeah.
just an incredible story. And what's even crazier is like where they're going to go from there. They've already won the Swedish League title. Can they build upon the stadium? Can they continue to grow in value? Can they now attract more talent in Sweden, outside of Sweden, et cetera? Just a crazy story. And the fact that they're doing it by a wide margin is just nuts. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's a crazy story.
Yeah, but if they win even one of their remaining fixtures or draw two, they will set a new record for the most points ever amassed by an Allsvenskan team, which means of the Swedish league, which will be breaking the record set by Swedish giant Malmö FF in 2010 and matched by AIK in 2018. Unbelievable story, man.
I'm rooting for them.
Yeah. In the Champions League next season, I hope they draw like a Real Madrid, Paris, like something like that. Be
Giant
crazy.
Slayer.
100%.
Welcome to another episode of Five Aside on BEIN Sports. Today, it's a lot of talk about African football, Ghana, Morocco, Egyptian club football, and of course, cultural news with Air Afrique. We're going to get into all of this right now. But the first thing we have to talk about, and Josh, this pertains to you and the Ghanaians all over the world, is that in Ghana, there's controversy right now because there seems to be players of Ghanaian descent who now want to play for Ghana, but only after you guys qualify for the World Cup. Not before, but after. Rumors are not confirmed, but the players whose names are floating around are, of course, Eddie Nketiah and Callum Hudson-Odoi, two English-born players of Ghanaian descent. The question to you is, how do you feel about the Ghanaian national team bringing in players after you guys have qualified for the World Cup who didn't take part in the qualification process?
No, that's a good question. I mean, personally, it reminds me of the quote, no contribution, no chop. You know what I mean?
Say that again.
Hey, no contribution, no chop, Charlie. Bro, it's one of those things like if you're not there during, the struggle of getting to a major tournament, just stepping into the major tournament, it shines an interesting light because of the fact that, Eddie Nketiah, they're saying the camp has been going back and forth. Specifically with Nketiah too, he's even, talked publicly about, Ghana and playing for Ghana even when he was on England. There was that question that was posed to him during the news presser. Callum Hudson-Odoi, there's been times that, there's been little bluffs in terms of the fact that we thought he was going to go.
Pump fakes.
You know what I mean?
Pump fakes.
And it's interesting to look at other squads. You look at the Nigerian national team, for instance, there's a lot of in it boys, as they'll call them in West Africa, a lot of UK men that have gone and played for them. But it's about choosing, the team that you want, choosing the national team specifically that you want from the start. It's understandable for someone to be split decision.
Of course.
It's understandable for it to be hard. But to make certain types of push or calls, and I haven't heard too much about the Hudson-Odoi shout from his team.
Yep.
That might just be flown around, but supposedly with Eddie, it's been more of a discussion. At the end of the day, obviously the coach has also brought up the fact that, listen, we want to honor the people who stuck with and went through. So it's interesting. We'd love to hear what y'all have to think as well, too.
I would say I think there's a way to bring them in without letting them be at the forefront because you weren't part of the qualifying round. You weren't part of building up this squad, but you could be a useful asset and you don't want to kind of shoot yourself in the foot with the fact that you can bring in some incredible players to the squad. But I definitely think if you were to put them as instant starters, that would super hurt team chemistry. And we know how important chemistry is, especially on a national team and especially in an international competition. And that's not worth the risk. But I think there is a way to bring them into the squad and have them fight for a position and then get incorporated that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally don't think that they should be allowed to join the team. One of Ghana's strongest teams ever, the team that went to the 2010 World Cup, was majority homegrown players. They won the U20s World Cup in 2009, the year before, with 100% players who came up in Ghana. And so that country specifically has a history of succeeding when they rely on players who came up in local academy systems. We see, obviously, South Africa right now, they just qualified for the World Cup first in their group. They fielded some of the games that they played in qualifiers were 100% homegrown players. So we're seeing this pattern more and more that could be a recipe for success, and I think Ghana should follow suit.
I mean, how I feel is the complete opposite. I think and I'll use the example of just a workplace environment. If you're a company that succeeds in one thing, you go on to another thing that's a bit more difficult because you succeeded in your first step. Why would you not go and bring better talent to achieve the second goal? At the end of the day, Ghana's players got paid to be part of the qualification process. So it's not like there's this sentimental issue of, oh, we struggled and we did this and we did that. You were compensated for your effort. Now it's a new challenge and a new thing. Bring in the best talent you can possibly do. That's how I feel. And personally, if it was Cameroon or if it was Italy, how I would feel is that I would want the best players to be part of that process. I would want the best players on the field going to the World Cup. And so if we have a chance to acquire new talent, you should. That's my opinion.
Would you integrate them directly in terms of the fact of, okay, if you could be in the starting 11, would you directly put them there? Would you take them off the bench?
I think you start off the bench and you let them have to prove themselves in the last 35, 40 minutes, because at the end of the day, national team is much more about chemistry than club football.
Exactly.
But I think it's kind of silly to not bring the talent, because what if someone gets injured and then you say to yourself, man, I could have brought Nketiah to this tournament and I didn't because of pride? You should. You got to bring him. If you have the opportunity, you have to.
That was a very unstep-like take.
The conversation that we just had, about the Ghanaian national team brings up the fact that, some cases it does work when you tap into the diaspora resources that you have. Morocco was able to make a deep run in last World Cup because of that.
And speaking of Morocco, we have to talk about what Morocco just did in the U20 World Cup. Champions of the world in the under-20 division, beating Argentina 2-0 in the final. Guys, Morocco has probably cemented itself as a footballing nation. That's probably my take right now. I think that Morocco can consider itself a top 8, top 9 nation when it comes to the abilities that they have as a global resume for football, not just on the men's side, but on the women's side as well. So a few questions. I think the first one is, what does this mean for the Moroccan national team going into the World Cup with the under-20 squad having performed this well? There's precedent in the past for African nations having done very well in youth tournaments. Nigeria beating Argentina in a final, Ghana going all the way in 2009. But it has never really translated into semifinal or final success for African nations at the major World Cup for men. So we're looking at a Morocco team that did very well in the last World Cup, is about to host AFCON. What can they do going into the World Cup?
I think this Morocco team heading into the 2026 World Cup is going to have some of the highest expectations we've ever had for an African team at a World Cup. So you mentioned fresh off the 2022 semifinals, they're going to be fresh off hosting AFCON, where a lot of us think they'll probably make at least a semifinal appearance. You have the likes of Achraf Hakimi, who is a Ballon d'Or candidate, and he might become one once again. Now you have the U20 World Cup winners. On top of all the financial investment in that country, again, on both the men and women's side, you can feel that this isn't just a moment, but it's actually a movement in Morocco. So I think they're going to do really well. I think bare minimum, I'll give them quarterfinals at the 2026 World Cups. But it's great to see the building from the foundation that they're doing. And then now going into these major tournaments, they feel like one of the big dogs because they are one of the big dogs. And that's how I see them for 2026.
Yeah, I think for me, really, I personally think Morocco can win the World Cup next year.
Bang.
I think
Really?
Bang.
I think if they bring in 4 to 5 young players from this U20 team, they can have almost the perfect squad. I think they relied on the last World Cup, a lot of the experience that they had. If you look at the likes of Amrabat, Ziyech, Bonu, Hakimi, a lot of these players are in their mid-20s to early 30s. And that experience carried them all the way to the semifinal. But we see that there was a lot of moments where they just had fatigue. They didn't have those that young spark coming off the bench, bringing in a lot of energy. If you bring in 4 or 5 of these guys who have shown that they could win an international tournament, they might have the perfect recipe.
Speaking of youth players that really, really did well for Morocco in this tournament, you have a deadly duo for the Moroccans, Othman Mama and Yassir Zubiri. Mama is a little bit of a CR7 regen, wears the number 7, moves like Ronaldo. You can tell he watched a lot of highlights of El Bicho growing up. Zubiri as well scored 2 goals in the final. But Mama, being a player who played in Liga for Montpellier, you can see his highlights, what he did in Liga, is just a testament to how far he can go. And he's a player who is on the same list as folks like Messi, Aguero, and Pogba, because having won the Golden Ball at the U20 tournament puts him among those names. And so this kind of brings me to my next question. Kendrick, you kind of already answered it, but what is success or what is failure for Morocco in their next 2 international tournaments? AFCON and World Cup. And I can start. I think AFCON, they have to win it.
Oof.
I think they're hosts.
100%.
They're hosts, they have to win it. There's no excuse. And World Cup, I think going into a World Cup, I'm not as ambitious as you, Kendrick, but I think at least a semifinal.
Okay. For me, I will say, yeah, they definitely should win AFCON. If you make a final appearance and lose to a crazy Mohamed Salah banger or something like that, like it happens, but you should win it. So I'm going to go with you on that. And then World Cup, I'd say quarterfinal minimum. It also depends on the draw. Okay, the draw is very important. So if you run into an early Spain, Brazil, etc., I can understand losing in the quarterfinals, but regardless of that, I think you should make the quarterfinals if you're Morocco.
For sure, I agree with all that y'all just said. And as you mentioned before, it's a movement that's going on. So you have to capitalize on that energy. Being a host of AFCON, it's not something to play with. You have a lot in your favor, from the pitch itself to just the area you're playing in. Playing the U.S. is another one. So we'll see about that.
What do you think, U.S.?
I mean, quarters at least.
Quarters at least.
You know, coming off semis from another World Cup, you have the opportunity to then take that energy.
Mm-hmm.
If you can make finals in both, be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
Final would be, wow.
Finals in both is
That's incredible.
you're the top of the world.
World Cup final. That is an unbelievable. That's never happened for an African team.
Yeah.
Semis first ever and then final first ever. That'll be. I mean, that's exceeding.
That's how you make a movement that sticks.
Oh, for sure.
Today's date is October 23rd, 2025. I'm saying it now. Morocco, the Atlas Lions, they're the Giant Slayer. They're going to go on to win AFCON, and they're going to go on to win the World Cup.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
All right. Well,
Bold predictions.
yeah, super. But it brings me to my next topic pretty easily. Speaking of North African teams dominating, we'll bring it over to club football right now. A team in Egypt that is kind of new on the block, because in Egypt you have the old heads. You have Al Ahly, you have Zamalek, who a lot of old Egyptians will know and be fans of. But there's a new team now that just recently got acquired in 2018, Pyramids FC, who just won the African Super Cup against RSB Berkane, which puts them in a position to play PSG in Qatar in December. Of course, they have to get through a semifinal first, but this is a team that's really starting to make waves. They're already qualified for the Club World Cup in the next 4 years. Guys, what do you guys think about this new giant in North African soccer, in African soccer, as a club team?
I think it's an incredible story because the club itself was only founded in 2008. They were then acquired in 2018 and being rebranded as Pyramids FC, and only made their first ever African Continental Cup appearance in the 2019-2020 season. But to be able to come as far as they have already, they also won the African Champions League, winning 3-2 in the final against Mamelodi Sundowns, another Club World Cup team. So just to be such a young team and already have ascended this high in Egyptian football, and especially accelerating after the acquisition, it's incredible to see just how fast, when you put that investment in, which you can really create with a team.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that it adds to the culture and just the competition. You know, instead of there just being a team that is dominating all the time, you have a new team. As you said, there was new acquisition, new resources put into a system. So it's good to see.
I think what we can speak about then is the trajectory of African club football, because it shows that there are people who are looking to invest in African club football and turn those teams that previously weren't as known into winning machines. If that can continue to happen in other countries and in other leagues in Africa, the state of African club football may continue to increase, and that's what you want, because that allows for African homegrown players to have a solid space to grow when they're on the continent already, which means the sky's the limit for where African football can go. So
Yeah. No, it's a full circle discussion in terms of what we were saying about the homegrown talent versus the diaspora. If you build up the clubs, you're going to build up the homegrown talent even more. So it's great to see.
And speaking of homegrown ballers, one of the greatest ever from Africa, Didier Drogba, has appeared in a Nike campaign with Air Afrique. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. It's a story of how African football and culture has kind of come together. Guys, I kind of want to hear your thoughts on this Air Afrique campaign and what it means for the culture of African soccer in general.
It's really cool to see. Honestly, it's something that started in Abidjan. You know, recently they actually had a pop-up in New York, which was real cool. And their next stop is London. You know, they're able to go to Paris, stop in New York. And so it's a way to bring the diaspora together and show, obviously, that, you know, this mode of transportation, being the plane itself, is something that's able to carry that culture globally.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another example of him transcending the football pitch in terms of what he's done for culture. I mean, he's literally stopped the war. So being part of an incredible fashion campaign like this is just another notch on his belt that he's so much more than a footballer.
Yeah, for me, it's a testament to his longevity. Like one of the parts of maybe, I don't know, that might be a Nike shop. For me, it's just a testament to his longevity. Like, there are still little kids who never watched Drogba play a game in their life, but they know what he means. They know the significance of him. They know what he looks like. And to have that sort of like lasting legacy years after finish playing the game, it's an incredible testament to all he's done.
It makes my fault. No, it makes sense to have Drogba be the face, especially something like this. Personally speaking, there was a time that I actually had a layover in Cote d'Ivoire before I went to Ghana, and Drogba was there all over to see in the airport.
Sure. He deserves it, man. He deserves it.
Speaking of great players, lastly, there's a debate that needs to happen right now about what players are coming into their Ballon d'Or candidacy. We have Dembele, who of course won it last year, but there's new players on the block like Harry Kane, Salah, maybe going for another shout, Lamine Yamal. Who do we think is an early contender for the Ballon d'Or, and who could be the next player to sit at that table for the Ballon d'Or?
I think Dembele's most likely person to dethrone him is actually his French teammate, Kylian Mbappe. The form that he's currently in with Real Madrid, the fact that he scored in 11 straight games for club and country, and the likelihood to also have a team success to go with his individual brilliance and statistics. I think he's the most likely person to get it. I think he's going to have the crazy 50, 60 goal season. Real Madrid's probably going to win La Liga, maybe Champions League. We think France will probably have a deep run in the World Cup. So I'd go with Mbappe. But Kane and Haaland also have a great opportunity as well.
Haaland has not been taking it easy on any defender, in this league. The thing about this year, Ballon d'Or wise, it's interesting is just the fact that, it's a World Cup year.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take the national team into consideration. That's why a captain like Harry Kane can make a strong push.
I think a dark horse is going to be Achraf Hakimi. I predict that Morocco can go on to win the World Cup. I think PSG can go on to win a treble again if they get healthy. And so I think the more that he does to just lay claim to that prize, the more likely it is that he'll walk away and become another African Ballon d'Or winner on that very short exclusive list.
I think I agree with you, Kendrick. I think because Hakimi has a really, really good chance of doing well with Morocco and has 2 major international tournaments this year, he's pretty high on the list of players who could make a good Ballon d'Or run. So yeah, let us know what you guys think. This has been another episode of 5-A-Side on BEIN Sports. Tune in next week, same time.
All right, y'all. Episode 102. Appreciate y'all very much for getting us this far. And stay with us to the next 100, man. We'll get to 200 soon. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all again next week. Perfecto. Oh, yeah, hold on. And lastly, I'm going to get this off real quick. I don't even know if we're still wrong, but let me tell you something. The NBA's back. The Knicks are going to the NBA Finals. Bro, New York City, it's our time right now, baby. Let's go. And also shout out D Rose, man. It's a fact. And Brooklyn Nets go back to Jersey. You heard?